Good afternoon. I'm Rachel Jenkins with Cape Fear Newspapers, and you're watching Community News Today on Topics Design TV. We bring you all the latest news from Pender, Duplin, and Onslow counties. Our first news item for today comes from the Pender Chronicle. Pender County Health Department Interim Director Wayne Rayner has confirmed that he will be leaving the post after more than 6 months in the temporary position. Rayner, a retired health professional who now takes consulting jobs, came aboard October 7th to fill the gap left by the retirement of long-term director Dr. Jack Griffith and his assistant Gwen Smith. The two left after months of charges and countercharges of backbiting, discrimination, mismanagement, and a conspiracy to oust the two department leaders. Enter Rayner, who said at the time his position was open-ended while the Board of Health searched for a permanent director. The board had recently selected a replacement, but the candidate had already accepted another job. Rayner said it should just be a matter of weeks before the board settles on another director. In the meantime, there are other retired public health directors who could fill the gap if needed, he said. The department needs a permanent director, Rayner said. Hopefully it will be someone who can carry on what we've been doing. During the fracas at the health department last year, 2 outside studies were completed that showed the agency did need some work on how it operates and on the morale of the staff. Later, while rummaging through some boxes, about $200,000 in unfilled charges to Medicaid were found and eventually paid. Rayner's primary work has been to reorganize the offices in the health department building to improve the flow of patients. He also has instituted a system of getting suggestions for improvement from the staff. He retired as a public health director from the Cumberland County Board of Health in 2009, where he had served since 2003. Prior to that, he served as health director in Harnett County and worked in a variety of women's and children's health programs for the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services. He also served as president of the NC Association of Local Health Directors and was voted Health Director of the Year in 2001. Rayner said he will be taking a position he would not identify, but that is closer to home in Fayetteville. Driving 90 miles a day one way was too much in wear and tear, Rayner said. I've been going back home once a week instead and living in temporary quarters. This job has been good for me, and I think the county, he added, but the county needs a permanent director. The health board was scheduled to hold a special meeting April 11th to consider applications for the permanent post. In other Pender County news, the turtles are coming. There are 22 sea turtles unlike any others. They're even unlike each other. What is the same? They all strike the same pose, cost $1,000 to temporarily adopt, are meant to raise money for the new Karen Beasley Sea Turtle Rescue and Rehabilitation Center under construction in Surf City. And all are works of art. The fundraiser was an invention of the Young Surf City Art Guild as a way of getting the art community and the general community together, volunteers said. Artists were matched with sponsors and designs and went to work transforming the stark white fiberglass forms of sea turtles in mid-swim stroke. To see the finished products, creators and sponsors gathered last week among the turtles on display at a kickoff reception at Art Exposure north of Hampstead. Sponsors and supporters include businesses like the Topsail Island Trading Company and the Mainsail Restaurant in Surf City, and individuals or families like Gail and Raymond Childress. The turtles will be displayed by their sponsors until auctioned off September 30th, with 100% of the proceeds going to the hospital. Other items available to help the cause will include posters showing all the turtles, t-shirts, and desk calendars. Information about the fundraiser and the guild is available at surfcityartists.com. That's today's fresh batch of news from the Pender Chronicle, where you can always turn to see what's going on in Pender County. Next, we have an update from the Advertiser news in Richlands. The Bay Tree Apartments in Richlands held a grand reopening on April 7th, celebrating the completion of recent renovations. The apartments were built in 1989 and funded by USDA Rural Development. 23 of the 24 units have project-based rental assistance. Representatives from many organizations were on hand to say a few words of thanks and celebration. Norco General Manager Tina Holt and Site Manager John Hess were also part of the ceremony. Stephanie Norris was there to represent her parents, Oscar and Joan Norris, founders and chief executive officers of Norco Management, the company that manages the Bay Tree Apartments. Holt recognized 4 residents who had been part of Bay Tree for many years. Mildred Dunn and Felipe Delgado have lived there for over 15 years, Doris Tharp and Janet Cox for 13. Chuck Newcomer, representing CAHEC, Community Affordable Housing Equity Corporation, said the hardest thing to do is to take an older complex and bring it up to modern standards. He commended Bay Tree's staff for not just providing affordable housing, but maintaining affordable housing. Richland's Mayor Pro Tem McKinley Smith said, "We're just proud to have you here and to be part of our city. Without you, the city would not be what it is today." He said the improvements to the apartments are a positive thing for everybody here. William Moore, a representative from Congressman Walter Jones's office, highlighted the partnership aspects of Bay Tree, which draws on funds and resources from CAHEC, USDA Rural Development, and others. "It's all about reaching across, having partners, getting things done," Moore said. State Director of USDA Rural Development Randall Gore, who used to be a multifamily housing specialist, said the whole project depends on the dedication of the people who carry it out. "Had it not been for good, honest, hard-working owners and managers, imagine what this property would be today," he said. Stephanie Norris asked all present to write letters or make phone calls to say thank you to the legislators who provide government funding for Bay Tree and similar projects. After the words of encouragement and gratitude, the group held a ribbon cutting for the updated version of the Bay Tree apartments. A team of 8th grade students from Beulahville Elementary School attended the 33rd Annual Eastern North Carolina High School Mathematics Contest at East Carolina University in Greenville on March 29th. They competed in Algebra 1 and Geometry. 44 schools were represented with 581 students competing. They had 80 minutes to complete a 40-question multiple-choice test. They couldn't use calculators at all, said Amy Kennedy, a math teacher at Beulahville Elementary, who helped prepare the students and coordinate the trip. "We provided them with sample tests for them to use to prepare with." Another group competed on April 7th at Coastal Carolina Community College. "It's basically the same competition, but it's 2 different locations," said Kennedy. The CCCC group was made up of 7th and 8th graders, with the younger students competing in Algebra 1 and the 8th graders in Geometry. "In choosing students to represent the school," Kennedy said, "we based it on their performance, specifically their grades in math from the first semester. The purpose of the event is to raise the level of mathematical competence of the students in Eastern North Carolina, to stimulate interest in mathematics, and to encourage more students to include mathematics in their programs of study, and to honor students who are outstanding in their knowledge of mathematics," according to the contest's chairman at ECU, Dr. Chris Carolyn. Kennedy said the contest was a good experience for the BES students, and she hopes they will have other opportunities to participate in similar events. For stories like that one and all the news from Beulahville, Richlands, and Onslow County, check out the Advertiser news every Wednesday. We're going to take a short break for commercial messages, but then we'll be right back with more news. Thank you.